In today's video, we go through and discuss the Tournament of 10 Bloods, which occurs during Boethiah's Daedric Shrine quest. In order to engage with their Daedric Shrine, we must be at least level 20. If we haven't come across the shrine yet, and weren't sure on where to start looking, there are some in-game resources that can help us out. The first method is by reading the book titled Modern Heretics. This book can be found in either Cloud Ruler Temple or in the Mystic Archives of the Arcane University. Reading it will mark Azura's shrine on our map, as well as unlock dialogue prompts that will lead us to Boethiah's. An alternative book to read is titled The Refugees. This book will increase our light armor skill and can also be found in Cloud Ruler Temple or purchased from the first edition bookstore in the Imperial City District. However, only the Cloud Ruler Temple copy will progress our search for Daedric Shrines. By reading these books, both Modern Heretics and The Refugees, this offers up some unique dialogue options with various NPCs. We'll be given the conversation topic of Daedric Shrines. Now, it seems like most of the helpful answers offered for this topic come during the Blood of the Daedra quest for the main storyline. So, if that quest is our current one, we can go to Shadenhall and speak with Ulaine Hlurvu about the city.
I'm Ulaine Hlurvu, Castle Mage. Perhaps you've been warned off me as a scandalous, blasphemous scoffer and cynic. The characterization is completely accurate. I despise the gods and those who bow before them. The Azura Coven and the Gerals north of Shadenhall, nice folks. Nothing like the blood-drinking Daedra worshippers everyone raves about. A waste of time, of course, worshipping gods in the first place. But at least they're not raving lunatics. You worship the 9 divines, perhaps. Have they ever helped or harmed you? Of course not. Now worship a Daedra Lord and you get effects. Bad ones, of course, but clear and measurable effects.
She marks Azura's shrine on our map, which is fine. However, we want Boethiah's shrine's location. So, we go to Borba's Goods and Stores to speak with Borba Gra Uzgash. She'll show us various dungeons and ruins around the area and mark them on our map, which is fine. However, she'll also tell us this. A shrine to Azura lies in the Geral Mountains far to the north towards the Skyrim border. And I think there's a shrine to Boethiah high in the Valis Mountains southeast of Shadenhall. From here, the location will be marked on our map and we can start making our way towards it. Boethiah, the Daedric Prince, goes by many different names. The Prince of Plots, the Dark Warrior, Queen of Shadows, Goddess of Destruction, Hunger, and He Who Destroys and She Who Erases are among a few of them. Boethiah is obsessed with battle, war, blood, and killing. Boethiah's realm of Oblivion is called Attribution's Share. Exactly what awaits us, or what trials and tribulations we'll need to overcome, are unknown. The shrine is on the edge of Valis Mountains and is directly east of Squandered Mine, southeast of Fort Nassau, and north-northeast of Fort Fashion. It isn't as easily accessible as other shrines and requires us to scale up some mountains. The exact pathway we take will vary the terrain's difficulty. We work our way across the faces and finally end up at Boethiah's shrine. There are 3 worshippers here, as per usual, Pajin, Tolvasa Sendis, and Haquan. We speak with each of them for information.
There's nothing to see here. Why don't you just go home?
This location is supposed to be secret. Not secret enough, obviously.
You approach the shrine of Boethiah. Tread lightly. You believe yourself worthy to approach the shrine of Boethiah? Perhaps. Or perhaps you will be slaughtered. It is your choice.
You are brave, or suicidal. Approach then, and make an offering. Boethiah demands a Daedra's heart.
Haquan has told us that we need to offer 1 Daedra heart to Boethiah in order to gain an audience with the Daedric Prince. With this character, we haven't even gone near an Oblivion gate yet, but there are a few places where we can acquire one pretty easily. The first location is the main ingredient in the Imperial City Market District. Ogier Yorick will have 2 for sale at 45 gold apiece. The next spot that we can take a look at is the Anvil Fighters Guild Hall. If we go all the way up to the top floor, titled Company Offices, we'll see one for the taking in a display case, along with a Minotaur's horn and an elven ceremonial cuirass. Of course, there are also a variety of other ways to obtain hearts, including Oblivion gates and various ruins. They can only be collected off of Dremora, Zivalai, and Aurorans from the Knights of the Nine DLC. Once we have the heart, we can return back to the Daedric Shrine and offer it up to Boethia.
Why do you summon me? You are not one of my faithful. Do you hope to be counted among my chosen? Then prove yourself to me, mortal. I shall open a portal for you to one of my realms in Oblivion. Go and take your place in my tournament of 10 bloods. Survive, and you will be rewarded. Fail, and your soul belongs to me.
Behind us, a unique Oblivion gate has opened up. It's similar in looks to the one we saw in Periite's Daedric Shrine quest. We're to participate in something called the Tournament of 10 Bloods. Whatever that is, we know that we should prepare ourselves for a hefty battle. Gear and consumables in check, we walk up to the gate, interact with it, and get teleported away. We spawn into a hellscape setting. We're trapped in a cage and are surrounded by lava. Dead ahead of us, however, is a pathway leading to a small island. We interact with the cage, and it begins.
Welcome, Lord, to the Tournament of 10 Bloods. To your right, through each of 9 gates, another chosen awaits you.
The details of this plane are similar to what we would see in Mehrunes Dagon's realm. Spikes, lava, rocky grounds, fires, and mutilated corpses. In the center of this arena island is a grand statue of Boethia himself, proving his dominance and rule over this location. There are gates to both our left and right. As mentioned by Boethia himself, we wander over to the eastern or right gate.
The gate is open. Go forth and greet my chosen orc.
The gate opens and we see an orc clad in Daedric armor. She comes charging at us with an ebony battle axe, enchanted with some form of frost spell. We play it safe and try to keep our distance, ensuring that only few of her hits land, which also means less of our attacks are successful. She gets our health down by about a third. We decide to get in close and swing away with everything we've got. She staggers backwards, and before she has a chance to heal, she falls to our blade.
Alas, poor orc. This was not your finest hour.
The treasures and spoils for this challenge don't come from chests, but rather the loot from our fallen enemies. Be sure to loot all of our dead competitors before we move on, as they can have some amazing gear on them. We approach the next gate.
Greet the war-hardened Redguard. Fight for my glory, chosen one.
The second gate opens up and a Redguard in glass armor runs at us. She wields a glass mace that drains our willpower with each hit. She defends herself with an elven shield. When we block, her hits don't deal too much damage to us. The real problem would be if we were a spellcaster, which, lucky for us, we aren't. Her heavy hits certainly do more damage to us, and she heals herself, bringing her back into the fight. We get in close and unleash a few heavy attacks, killing our opponent.
In the scales of testing, Redguard, you are tried and found wanting.
We move on to the third gate.
Through the gate, my wood elf waits. Hurry, and do not disappoint me.
We walk through and see a wood elf in glass armor aiming us down with their bow. Even while blocking, the damage dealt by arrows is pretty significant, so we have to ensure we make quick work of them. We take a few arrows and get in close enough to where they switch their weapons to a Daedric mace. It's here we unleash a flurry of attacks and best the wood elf.
Alas for the honor of Valenwood. The good elf.
We move on to the 4th gate.
Beyond this gate is my Argonian challenger. She is a clever thing, and eager for your blood.
An Argonian in orcish armor charges out the gate, bow in hand. The first arrow fired manages to paralyze our character. She gets a couple of free hits in, and brings our health down to 2/3. We follow the Argonian to a rock wall and get in close. From here, she switches to a Daedric Claymore, and we both hack away at each other. She gets our health down to less than half, which I would consider a close call. Before she can heal, we cut her down, ending her life. We loot the Argonian before hearing Boethiah's comment, but the Daedric Prince says, "How sad. The Argonian was a poor thing. Let her go." We move on to the 5th gate.
Here you face the swift and subtle battle. Go through the gate, chosen, and test your fate.
In a flash, we see something fly off the rock face and into the lava. Seconds later, we get this dialogue.
What a pity. For the Breton, it is over.
The lava is a very valid way to easily kill our opponents. The issue is we run the risk of not being able to loot their bodies exactly like this experience. We move on to the 6th gate.
The Dark Elves are my favored people, but I am fair. The outcome is in your hands.
A Dark Elf archer emerges from the gate and approaches us. He loosens some arrows at us, but we get up in his face to force close combat. We hit him and he runs backwards, trapping himself on the edge of the bridge. Eventually, he falls beneath it and we lose sight of him. Soon, we hear cries of pain, followed by one last yelp, and get this dialogue.
A valiant effort, Dark Elf, but take comfort. Your spirit is mine.
We move on to the 7th gate.
Your High Elf opponent is cool and confident. Go, let the contest begin.
A High Elf conjurer comes running at us with a Staff of Shock. She summons a headless zombie and casts a plethora of spells at us. As soon as we meet her for combat, she runs off of the bridge and falls down into the lava.
The price of failure. A final fanfare for the High Elf. Farewell.
We move on to the 8th gate.
With his keen mind and eyes, the Imperial measures you. Give him what he seeks.
An Imperial male in Daedric armor comes charging at us with a war axe. He casts some destruction spells and hacks away at our character. As soon as we get a few hits in, he staggers backwards, showing us we need to continue with our pressing attack. He stumbles again and shortly succumbs to his wounds and dies.
No, I'm afraid this Imperial was not the one.
We move on to the 9th gate.
My conscience is quick and cunning. Go, seek him out. See whose blood is quicker.
A Khajiit in glass armor wielding an ebony warhammer runs out and meets us in combat. Similar to the previous opponent, as soon as we get a few hits in, he too staggers backwards. We lose sight of him in the flames of his attacks. We give one good swing in his direction, making contact and killing our foe.
The others are dust. You alone, Lord, remain. First and last. Go now. Beyond the next gate. Your portal waits.
All 9 opponents are defeated and we're crowned the victor. It seems as though Boethiah pinned every playable race of men, mer, and beastfolk against one another to see who would come out as the strongest peoples. Whichever race your character plays is whom you'll replace in this tournament.
I have opened a portal for your return to the world of men. Go now, chosen one, and claim your prize.
We're a Nord, so we fought for the free people of Skyrim. Before leaving, we have one last chance to loot our fallen foes for their spoils. Once we've taken everything that we desire, we can take the portal back to Cyrodiil. We're teleported back to the shrine.
You have returned, and you are not a corpse. Boethiah may be pleased by this. You who have returned from Boethiah's realm, approach the shrine and learn your fate.
We speak with Boethiah.
I greet you, chosen one. A victory in my tournament of 10 bloods brings great honor. Take Goldbrand sheathe it in your enemies, and offer their souls as praise to me.
With that, we've completed Boethia's Daedric Shrine quest and received our reward of the enchanted, unique, and leveled weapon of Goldbrand. Looking at its stats, it has a value of 6,615 gold, a weight of 52, deals 27 base damage, and has the enchantment of fire damage for 22 points on strike. Goldbrand appears in the form of a katana with an onyx handle and a gold blade. It acts as a one-handed longsword. Goldbrand is our character's strongest weapon now, and will likely be using it going forward. Goldbrand is an ancient artifact that was crafted by the dragons and bestowed upon the Nordic warrior, Sidver. Goldbrand can be found in the book Tamrielic Lore, written by Yagram Bagarn. The article on it reads, "This magical sword is almost a complete mystery. Thieves tell tales about its golden make and how it was actually forged by ancient dragons of the north. Their tales claim that it was given to a great knight who was sworn to protect the dragons. The sword lends its wielder the ability to do fire damage on an enemy. Goldbrand has not been cited in recent history and is said to be awaiting a worthy hero." During the events of Morrowind, Goldbrand was gifted to the Nerevarine after they had paid an orc sculptor to build a new statue dedicated to Boethia, as per request of the Daedric Prince, as the original was lost to time and landscape change. During the events of the Great War, Goldbrand was wielded by a Dremora whom was in the service of Lord Narfin, the Thalmor general. The Dremora, Reeve, was killed and the blade was returned to the tomb of Sidver in the mountains of Skyrim. Years later, the Dragonborn took up the task of retrieving the blade from Dragon Priest Magrathi's tomb, as apparently Magrathi had slain Sidver's brother over a petty dispute, leaving Goldbrand in the possession of our character in Skyrim. Its later whereabouts are unknown, or rather, to be written about still. Until next time, keep on adventuring.